Well, hello, Natalie. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, ma'am, we can.
There
Hello.
you are.
Here we are.
How you both doing?
Good. Pretty good.
Yeah?
Are you doing? Yeah, we're doing good.
Well, what made your day good?
Let's see, what did you do today? I did my ironing, so I was not that exciting, but it was done. That's fine.
I bought a cuckoo clock at the Goodwill for $40. That was brand new in the package
Ooh, that's nice.
from Germany.
Oh, wow. I have not seen a cuckoo clock since I was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. They're making a resurgence. But
Wow.
I've
Wow.
always,
Brand new from Germany.
yeah, it was still in the original packaging. $40.
Wow.
Because when I was looking at them, they're anywhere from 100 to 500.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're very expensive. So to get one for $40, I was pretty stoked.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Because my husband trolls the Goodwill all the time.
Uh-huh.
And so he's the one that saw it and told me about it. And he goes, "You better know if you'd want it." And I'm like, "Yes." I don't know which is better. I'm trying to get it so you can kind of see us, but not see the ceiling.
Oh, you're too funny.
There just doesn't seem to be any in between. There we go.
So did you take it out of the box yet? Did you set it up? Did you do the adjustments?
No. I'm going to probably do that tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
She needs to make it ring too to see if she really wants to hear it.
Uh-huh.
It has a night sensor, so it'll turn off at night.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Because my grandmother had one and I have it now, but it's broken, so it doesn't work. But every 15 minutes, that thing would go on.
Would chime.
Yeah. So when I was young, it just told me how bored I was all day. Every 15 minutes. But no, they're nice. They're nice.
Yeah, I didn't look for a clock repair person.
I remember as a kid, my next door neighbor had one. And so when my mom would go over there to visit, I remember sitting in the front room and, that was a time where kids really didn't, engage in the conversations. I just remember sitting there watching the cuckoo clock and then the little bird come out and do his little thing and the chimes would be moving and all kinds of stuff.
That's nice. I mean, they owe me, I think.
Yeah.
They kind of owe me to have a cuckoo clock.
Yeah, it is.
Is it a cuckoo one?
Mine is a cuckoo. Yours is just,
yours is just a clock.
But it has,
Is everybody coming in pretty soon?
It should be pretty soon. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let me take a look. Nobody else is in yet.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we can talk. That's good.
It's just us.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Can you see my face?
What happened?
No. I took a dive.
We've had an exciting week.
Yeah, we had a good week.
She came to my house. She wanted to talk to a friend of ours, the family friend, the one that I had sent out for a prayer request. And when she got up, she caught her shoe on something and went right into my table saw, which was not plugged in or anything. It's not like,
but it was there.
But it was there and it's heavy. So it didn't move. So she hit here. I don't know if you can see.
From there to all the way there.
Yeah, so she's bruised from here to here. And then her knees bruised and her toes look like.
They're better.
Oh, good.
She's
on a blood thinner. So when she bleeds a lot.
And it goes down,
Yeah, gravity.
So thank God for mask.
Right.
Outside,
they don't notice that she's all blue.
Otherwise, they probably would call the cop and say, "Well, that woman's been abused." Not true. Well,
and then their dog decided to drown himself.
Oh yeah, that was
Sunday. Sunday, I was like, okay. So Thursday he had a haircut, and it didn't go well because he's old. He's really old, and he's blind and deaf.
Oh.
So when it got to time to do his head, he freaked out and didn't want to get it done. So while he was sleeping, I was trimming the top of his head, and that worked great, but I couldn't see how bad it was because he was laying down. So I let him outside and I was waiting for him to come back, and I came back and talked to my parents for 2 seconds, and I went back and I couldn't find him. And then I look over in the pond and he's struggling in the pond. So I scream, because that's my first reaction always.
The thing is throwing.
And then I ran out there and fished him out of the pond, and then we took him to the vet, the emergency vet, and now he's doing good.
Oh, okay. He survived.
No, he
Oh, he
survived.
survived.
Yes.
Oh gosh. I mean,
But
He had different, yeah.
no. He survived. But now we're sorry.
Oh, it's another one of those.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It
okay, your dog survived, because this whole time I'm like holding my breath, cringing, going.
We figured out what happened. My dad wants the back porch closed in.
Okay.
So he built another porch off to the side of his porch that is the exact same style as the one in the by the pond. So we think he got lost because he can't see.
Okay.
So
And he fell in.
he fell in.
Oh.
He walked right to the pond.
Well, no,
Poor baby.
well, it was kind of good in a way, because we decided we was going to
Fence
close
it off.
everything in with a little fence. So now you can't go there.
Wow. Poor baby.
So
Wow, that would be terrifying.
Yeah, it took me a little while to
Yeah,
calm
we kind
down.
of got choked up.
Because I don't handle kids and animals getting hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't handle
Oh.
that.
Well,
So
no,
you
because
say-
you're a nurse. You save lives.
Yeah, well, she did. She saved that poor little fellow.
By the hair of my chinny chin chin, or his
No,
chinny
by
chin
his
chin.
neck.
Why can't I
Hi,
get to see
Jennifer.
everybody?
Hi.
How you doing, hon?
They are. Hello.
Good.
You've got a fantastic smile going on there.
But it was a long day, but it was good.
Very
all
long
done.
day.
Yeah. Barb,
Hi,
I saw
everyone.
it. Looks like you sold another house. Yes.
Oh yeah, I did. I did another closing. So I've got my next one coming up and I'm ready. So now I've got time in case anybody else wants to buy some.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm
Tracy,
a video
I'm sorry.
star.
You are. We all need your autograph.
I know. I've been very busy. Hollywood's been on the phone. All of my grandkids think they can't believe it. Their grandma's in a video, and they're sending it to all their friends.
Oh, and you did so good. You're so serious when you sat there. You're just real serious. And if you're all trying to figure out what on earth are we talking about, there's a new video out with Barb in it. Barb is a star.
Amazing. It's amazing. I
Nice.
just saw the words to the video, and suicide's very close to my heart because I do have some people that I know in my life who've committed suicide. So I was extremely happy to do the video, and it's just so powerful. And I didn't even see the video yet, and I was just reading the words, and I had tears coming out of my face. And then I saw the video, and then it was like, oh. So it's touching, it's gripping, it's beautiful. It's truly, truly a gift.
It is. It is. Thank you. Thank you for starring in the next video and for supporting the message, just to try to encourage people to hang in there. Hang in there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I have a friend who works with soldiers at BAMC. So she's going to be getting that video, and maybe it'll be encouragement to some of the soldiers who are going through so much.
Yeah, BAMC is, I have a dear friend of mine who's a psychologist. At one time, she was over there at BAMC. And so she allowed a handful of us over there, got permission to let us in. And she took us in an area where there were definitely some burn and trauma. Soldiers, yeah, they were recovering.
Or there's also Fisher House.
No, they actually came down into the cafeteria, but I mean, there's a couple who were, it was really profound, really profound. And even still in recovering from so much pain and suffering, they still want to give. They still just want it to give, and so much just want to be move on with their lives and not be treated different. It was really profound for all of us to have that gift of being there.
I'll take you one time. I go to Fisher House, so you can come with me. We bring, we actually make home goods like cookies and homemade stuff, and take baskets of tea and coffee and that type of thing. And we take them over to Fisher House, and they've got 57 different rooms where they're long-term care. And families are staying there, and then sometimes the victims are over there. And so it's pretty cool. It's really cool, and the different stories. And so it's a blessing that Denzel Washington donated $1 million to that.
Wow.
It's a really beautiful facility.
Wow. I have to take you up on that offer.
Deal.
Yeah. Tracy, I don't see you. I don't hear you. Oh, there she is. She's like, hi.
I look really bad tonight. Sorry.
Why do you think you look really bad tonight?
I've just been working really hard on the house and stuff, so I'm just like.
That color looks good on your skin.
Oh, well, thank you.
Exactly. I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, I like the color.
Yeah, it's great.
Thanks.
How are you feeling? It was your wrist, right?
Yeah, it's healing. Still really tender, so it's real dry. So I don't know. I keep stuff on it, but it still gets dried out. So
okay. How's the movement?
I can move it pretty good. It's just lifting, or if I turn it a certain way, you know. The other day I was talking to somebody, and I went, yeah, that's the thing I remember when I had surgery is I flopped my hand over, and I flopped my hand over too hard, and oh my goodness, I thought I was going to come unglued. But anyway, it gets real tender, so I need to ice it because I've been doing a lot of stuff today, but it's good.
Okay. Good. Michelle, you're with us.
Yes, I had to run to the kitchen real quick, but I'm back.
So how do you keep, I want to know the secret. How do you keep your kids out of your closet?
I lock my bedroom door, and then I lock this door. But if if I just stay in my bedroom, I'll be hearing knock, 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 knock. So I told them, if there's an emergency, just come to my bathroom window and I'll know it's an emergency. So we're good. Plus they're old enough, but they still bother a lot. So yeah, they'll come in and, you know, just ask random questions, or they all curl up on the bed like little kitties. So yeah.
Yeah, they just want to be together with you.
Yes. Sometimes they come in with their, you know, of course they're fighting or not getting along or something, but so, and this is about the time everybody's getting hungry and tired, so I got to make sure they stay out there.
Yeah, I understand. I remember with our 4 boys in the house, boy, there's times where I would be very similar doing what you're doing, and you know, for us it was, hey, if there's no blood, no guts, don't you dare come in here.
Yes.
If there's blood or guts, you're allowed to enter.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So Jennifer.
Yes.
How you doing?
Okay.
Okay, so what does okay mean?
It's been a rough day, but it's good.
I'm not convinced it's good.
Do you work outside of the home, or do you work in the home? Jennifer, do you work outside of the home or in the home?
Outside.
Yeah, it's tough out there.
Do you want to talk about it?
I'm outside the home. Plus I'm moving into that new position, and so I've been moving my office into a new office and trying to still do what I need to get done and do that. And it seems like the phone would ring. It was like a perfect storm several times during today where things just kept happening all at the same time. And I think what kind of topped it off was that I started my period today. So my emotions are kind of going just a little crazy. So it is okay, because I feel like that's probably the thing that's kind of knocking it over the edge.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, but I'm so glad that your day is over.
Yes, I am too. I am too.
Yeah,
Because I actually stayed a little bit late to get a few things done. And as I was driving home, I thought, it's Wednesday.
Hump day.
So I was glad to be able to come do this, but I felt a little frantic as I was coming in.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for joining us, especially after having such a long day of being interrupted like that and then just not feeling real good. Just, ugh. I
Well,
really appreciate and value your determination, your persistence to just go, I want every breadcrumb I can get.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about this past week. Did anyone practice either saying out loud or looking at yourself in the mirror? Like Jesus feels compassion for me, or Jesus yearns deeply from within his bowels or from within his being, his inmost being. He yearns to connect with me. Did anybody practice it?
I did.
I did
I
too.
said it, yeah. I said it out loud couple of times purposely for my husband to hear, and he was just like, what did you just say? Because I said so I kind of just stood there and we talked about it, but he was like, wow, that's a deep yearning, so. But yes, on a serious note, I practiced it.
How was it for you? Like, how did it
it's
feel for you?
it's very humbling, and I just think to myself, how could you yearn for someone like me? Someone who, whether it's prayer or taking time to read his word, it's always quickly or last minute, or when things are going bad. It's not, I don't really feel like I put God first in my life. So it blows my mind to think that he still yearns for me like that, even though, I mean, I am who I am. So.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Who else practiced? I saw some hands. Barb.
I saw after actually, unfortunately for Christina, after last Wednesday, a friend of mine is taking a Bible study class at her church. So then, of course, we got together and we were talking about the Bible studies we were talking about. So I got to share with her, and I said there was a nurse and there was a couple people that, that means a totally different thing, and she was just roaring laughing. And then we got really deep into a conversation where we kind of had different views on it. So I was messaging Christina, hey, I have a question for you. So it was good because it opened up this different chapter, kind of like it spun off, and it was powerful. So it was really good. And then I got to use I needed it several times this week, where you have to stop and realize how important you are, because God loves you. And so that's very powerful.
Yeah. God's love is overwhelming.
Mhm.
Yeah. Jennifer, you said that you practiced. Yeah.
I did, and I wish I did it, especially like the next day and through the following days. And I was able to share it with my husband, my son, one of my sons, my mom, and some of my friends. And so it was neat being able to share that with them. But I think as the week went on, I got busy and I needed to go back. I wish I would have gone back and done it more. because I think that would have helped today.
Yeah. But good for you for still practicing. I mean, each day, I mean, you were doing that, you're practicing, you're becoming familiar with um I that I am fully loved, I'm fully accepted by God. Like Jesus likes me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Cynthia.
Hey guys, can y'all hear me?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Thanks
you sound
for
you
for
sound
letting
great.
me join in. Sorry I'm late.
We're glad you're here. Glad you're here.
Mhm.
I think a couple of the other gals are going to be running late also. No biggie. They'll roll in when they're able to. It's good. It's good.
I
Yeah.
just got your book today,
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm really enjoying your writing style. Having been a middle school teacher, I'm really comfortable with that flow.
Thank you. Thank you. I worry. Sometimes I worry with some of the language that I put in there. Like there, when I went back editing, I was like taking out I don't know, just Mickey D's and just some other stuff. I was like, I don't know. I better take some of this out. Good. Thank
That's
you. Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you. Thank
So
you.
where are y'all?
So we were just talking and discussing about, if we were practicing this week, saying, like either looking at ourselves and our reflection, or even just speaking it out loud, like Jesus feels compassion for me, like Jesus feels very deeply from like his bowels for me, and so I was just asking, whomever wanted to share if they had practiced that this week, and so since you're the newbie in the group, do you want to share, were you
Sure.
able to try that out, and how was that for you?
Um, I hadn't done it that specifically because many, many years ago, I was taught to look in the mirror and say, "Good morning, Jesus." And so that has been habitual for me and real easy to do. I mean, to the point where the kids are, mom's talking to herself again, kind of thing, as they're in and out of my bathroom. But I did have, by the way, I'm Cynthia Schilling, and I typically go to the first service when I get to go, but I have been a caregiver for the last couple years for a little old lady who's 98 years old. She's a friend of mine. She's a mother of my dear friend, and she has full-blown Alzheimer's now. And I do a straight 40 hours. I stay overnight with her. And so I see all the different waves that she moves into. And I guess this past Sunday, um, I was like 10 hours into the shift, and she was having one of her episodes. I don't know how else to call them. And I was thinking to myself, oh, geez, okay, Lord, just get me through the next 30 hours. Let's just do that. And we were in the restroom, and she was busy on the potty, and I put my hand on her shoulder, and I was just trying to regroup myself, like, come on, Sin, you can do this. It's going to be a long shift, and she needs you, you know. And I looked up into the shower, and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Adventures of oh crumb, now it escapes me. Darn. Well, anyway, throughout the movie, he gets messages spilled to him, either scraped in the snow across the mountain. Walter Mitty.
Oh,
Yeah. And he sees notes to himself, and that happened. I looked up into the shower, and on the wall in comic book writing, black, it's real vivid. It said compassion. And I went, yes, yes. And behind it, blinking in neon, was grace, grace, grace. and I thought, okay, I can do this. And I put her down for a nap. I went and got my Bible. I sat next to her and read. She can't hear well anymore. But both of us were very different from that point on. And so there you go. There's my aha moment.
It's a good
That
one.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's cool.
It was good. It was almost like taking authority of really the frustrations and the, you know, what you were experiencing, and you were taking the authority of Jesus over that, and the authority was compassion. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that you put on grace, and you put on a heart of compassion and a mindset of compassion. And it sounds like it just de-escalated everything, and it allowed the peace of God to come in and to rule over both of your hearts and minds. And that's a great win. That's
No
awesome.
kidding. Because I don't really know what I'm doing, really. This is not my forte. I am a special ed teacher. I am a behaviorist. I can tell you how to redirect children by watching their behavior for a few minutes. I can tell you what they're going to do. And so I can get ahead of them, you know, with autistic and severely handicapped kids. I read really well. But this is, whew, I'm, I don't know.
Well, I hope one day I have somebody like you taking care of
Aren't you sweet, Barb?
you. Don't
Thank
have
you.
to, you can just feel. Sometimes it's just about feeling.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I love that, Cynthia, because exactly what you just shared is like a perfect place for us to dive into our study. Because I think so often we get caught up in, are we doing enough, being enough? You know, I'm not educated enough, or I'm not this, I don't have that, I don't have this tool set. You know, Lord, I specialize in this area, not this area. And we're going to see that so clear this evening with
Awesome.
these disciples. So let's just go ahead and hop in. We're going to be in 3 different sections tonight, but they're all going to be saying the same thing. So we're going to begin tonight, please, with Mark chapter 6. And we're just going to read 3 simple verses tonight. It's in 35 through 38. So is there, you know, somebody wants to throw their hand up and be like, me, I want to read. Or, I mean, not everybody at once. I mean, come on. Yeah. No takers?
Mark, what?
I forgot my Bible.
So Mark 6, 35 through 38.
6, 35.
Sorry, I'm pulling up my other thing too.
I can read, but I don't know what I did.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was all waving at Mary. I didn't hear
Hi.
who just talked.
I got mine up.
Okay, Barb, would you read it, please?
All right. By this time, it was late in the day, so his disciples came to him. This is a remote place, they said, and it's already very late. Send the people away so that they can go to the surrounding countryside and villages and buy themselves something to eat. But he answered, you give them something to eat. They said to him, that would take more than half a year's wages. Are we to go and spend that much on bread and give it to them to eat? How many loaves do you have? He asked. Go and see. When they found out, they said 5 and 2 fish.
Oh, where's the other one?
Thank you. Thank you. I love this. I love this. This is such a powerful moment of time that's been captured for us to really peer into. And even in these 3 simple little verses, it is a powerhouse. So, I mean, it's so practical. Verse 35, you know, it's late in the day. It's really late in the day. They've had a really long day. Remember, they rowed across the Sea of Galilee. I mean, they were hungry. They just got back into town. They were hungry. They forgot to eat. They had been really excited. They're a little, you know, R&R with Jesus, and they row across the lake, and boom, here's a 5,000 crowd of people. And that's 5,000 because they only counted the men. So who knows how many actually were there. And so can you imagine, this is them all day long. Jesus responds with compassion towards the people. He's just thrilled to be with them, feels this longing to want to connect with them, to pastor them, to cover them. And these disciples, I love these disciples. I mean, who here can relate to these disciples after a long day of work, in a sense? Right? You're like, I'm done, Jesus. Like, do you see the it's so practical what they come in to tell Jesus to do. It kind of cracks me up too, because you have Jesus, Messiah, right? And these boys are coming in kind of like the authority figure, like, okay, Jesus doesn't know any better, so we're going to come rescue him, or we're going to redirect Jesus.
And they sounded cranky too.
They do sound cranky,
They
don't
sound
they?
very cranky.
They do, because you hear all the arguments that they're giving. You know, like, what's the first one? It was already what?
It's already late.
It's already late. The place is what?
Desolate.
Desolate. I mean, that desolate is desolate. Greek word, English word. It's the same. There ain't nothing around here. There's no drive-through. There is nothing around here. And this actually means within a couple of miles, there's nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then their practical way of speaking to Jesus, they then kind of come up with the how-to, like they're instructing Jesus, like, in case you didn't notice, it's getting dark, nothing around here, and
there's no Whataburger.
there's no. And then he tells them, like, you send them away. Like, they're coming in all bossy, but notice they don't want to talk to the crowd. They just want to tell Jesus what to do. Hey, Jesus, we're telling you what to do. Send the people away. It's been a long day. They need to go home. Leave. Go to market. Go get themselves something to eat. This is like the most outrageous idea, because even though it sounds so practical and so realistic, like, yes, it was late in the day. Yes, it had been a long day. Yes, they're out in the middle of nowhere, but they're not interested in the people. Like, do you get it? Like you're talking about the word compassion. There's not an ounce of compassion in this statement that they are directing and telling Jesus. They're just being clear and cut. Jesus, this is what you need to do. But there's no compassion, no grace whatsoever. Because during this time in the Jewish kind of time frame, this is probably right around 6-7 o'clock in the evening. So on a Jewish calendar, sunset, or what was considered nighttime or twilight, is when the first 3 stars come out. The stars are bright, I don't know, something deep in the heart of Texas. So deep in the heart of Galilee, 3 stars, you're going to bed. They're kind of, their Jewish work day was from when the sun comes up to when the sun sets, and those 3 stars come out. You got to, get yourself tucked away in bed, bring the animals in, bring the kiddos in, and that's it. You're going to bed. So it is evening time. This is literally, they're saying it's like high tide. So it means it's late. It is dark. They're out in the middle of nowhere. And they tell them, send them to the market to go eat. Well, that's the problem. Guess what? The market is like at least 3 miles away, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on your pace. And that's if it's 3 miles away. And then guess what? Everybody's going to bed.
Yeah.
They're going to bed. There's no McDonald's, there's no Whataburger, there is nothing. So even in their practical way of thinking, even if Jesus were to dismiss the people, they're going home hungry. They would be going home with an empty belly. And I absolutely love this about Jesus, that Jesus is so concerned about even an empty belly. He's like, these people have come out here to spend time with me. I want to connect and spend time with them. There's no way I'm going to send them home on an empty belly. I mean, that's just how compassionate and grace-filled our Jesus is empty belly. I want to fill it. I mean, that's just a real practical need that God has with us. I mean, it's kind of exciting to go, I don't have to apologize for being hungry or for asking for what I want, right? Well, except for the disciples, they had a problem with it. And so do you also get to, so the disciples kind of enter into this power struggle with Jesus. Like Jesus is sitting there teaching the people. They get the bright idea that Jesus, can't control the situation anymore. And so they need to instruct Jesus on what to do, how to do it. And this is how you're going to execute the game plan, Jesus. And Jesus is brilliant right here. So this is great for any of us if we ever feel like we get caught in a power struggle. Like totally, how does Jesus disarm them? What does he say? I think it's in verse, was it 36 or 37? What is
No, 37. Yeah.
What does Jesus
Give them something to eat?
He redirects them. He doesn't argue with them. He just redirects them. You feed them.
Fix it.
Right.
It's just brilliant. You're like, oh, I need this in management and company and life with my family. Boundaries, people, boundaries. Jesus totally disarms them. He absolutely disarms them in just a moment, reverses it and goes, you give them something to eat. Now, seriously, put yourself in their shoes. Seriously.
Yep.
And Jesus is speaking to you and me and says, Natalie, you go feed them. Like, honestly, how would you feel like right now if Jesus looked at you and said, Natalie, you go feed them?
What would be going through my mind and what I would say are two different things. I'm just saying. What was going through my mind was like, how do you want me to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Because there were 5,000 people.
Yeah.
But they forgot that it was Jesus.
Yeah, it's a little much to ask Jesus, like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so then you can just see like their wheels are spinning. And then they want to go right back into an argument with him. And they're like, what? Like, what? Are we supposed to go out and work, like 8 months, a half a year, 8 months, 7 months? Are we supposed to go work that long and then come back and buy just a little bit of bread for them? It's really not even enough bread to fill their bellies. It would just kind of be, everybody gets a bite of the bread. Everybody take a bite. You only get a nibble for the road home. That's it. They just like totally go into this argument with him instead of even really allowing it to settle. They're just right back arguing with him. And then Jesus, what's the last question that Jesus asked them? Actually, he doesn't even ask them a question. First time he directs them, gives them a directive. You give them something to eat. And then what's the question that he then asks them when they enter the argument with him?
What do they have?
Right.
How many loaves do you have? Go and see.
And you can see the look on their face like, well, I don't know. And he's like, well, go see. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Did anybody happen to see the two different pictures I put on our Facebook group?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's two different pictures rendered by two different artists, kind of their depiction of this scenario here. And in one of them, you see this disciple like kind of, with that kind of face, like you can tell he's like trying to reason with Jesus. And then you have this other artist who this disciple's looking at Jesus like, more this kind of stern look like, yeah. It's just kind of a funny thing that's going on. And Jesus is like, well, what do you have? What do you have? Go look. And then you could just tell. It's almost as if he just like goes, and goes right back to talking with the people. Totally dismisses them, doesn't argue with them anymore. Is like, go, bye, boys.
Isn't this kind of like an introduction to teaching them that you guys are going to have to figure this stuff out here pretty soon? You know, so how are you going to, it's like a, I don't know, like a internship. Like, you've been with me so long, you've seen how things go. Now show me that you've absorbed everything.
Mhm. It reminds me too of the wedding with the wine when Mary
Oh,
said,
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
but she said, just do whatever he says. And she walks off. It's almost like she kind of dismissed him and went off, you know? But I don't know. It just reminds me of that story.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. That's a great
It's quite
example.
comical. I never thought of it being comical like you just said. That's pretty cool.
I really think it is. I really think Jesus has a sense of humor that a lot of times we don't grasp, because so many times I think of Jesus as being stern and like upset with me, or and I'm like going, no, I think these are kind of everyday Joe guys that sometimes, it's just kind of like, whoo, just like you or me,
Yeah.
Go away, go away. So if you read in the book, I'm not sure if you have or not. So the bread was not like these big honkin', beautiful loaves of bread that we see at Panera. They literally were about anywhere from 5 to 8 inches across, and it would be a round piece of bread. That was it. I mean, that was like a meal for a person. And for a poor family, which the story seems to kind of indicate, because these people are out in the middle of nowhere. Like, rich people didn't hang out in the middle of nowhere at 6, 7 o'clock at night. That just didn't happen. So these seem to be maybe a lower income people. And this bread is real dense. It's real heavy. It's not the kind of like, I'm so excited to eat this soft, chewy bread. This is some intense bread that they're getting ready to find here, but it is great. So I'm sorry, I got a little bit ahead of myself. I'm so excited about this. So he tells them, go and look. Have you ever stopped to think about how long would it take to go and sort through 5,000 people if there's only 12 of you? There's how many of us on right now? 2, 4, 6, 8? There's 8 of us right now. And it'd be like, ready, set, go. 5,000 people. Shake them down, gals. We're looking for some bread.
Can you imagine the look on the person when all of a sudden they were like, okay, we need your bread.
Yeah.
You're going to do what with it? Oh, right. You're going to feed everybody with my bread. Yeah.
Awesome.
How long do you think it took them?
That's fun.
Oh, wow.
Definitely a while. And can you imagine? I don't know about you, but I would just be so aggravated. I would be so up to here at first, so indignant, like, really, Jesus, you're sending me out in a crowd of people to go fetch you some bread. And I'm already an introvert. I don't like talking to people. And thanks a lot, Jesus.
Everybody's strangers.
Everybody's a stranger. Yeah, and except for your extroverts were probably like, praise God, I can go talk to someone. So they're in and out, they're mingling with people, right? So remember, when they were back in the boat, they were not real happy. They definitely did not seem happy that there was a crowd waiting for Jesus, right? They're not happy that the people are still hanging around late at night. They're saying, go home, go home. What do you think was going on as they're in there mingling with people? And it took more than 5 or 10 minutes to sort through 5,000 people.
They're probably thinking there's got to be an easier way to do this.
They're probably like, why doesn't Jesus just tell us who has it? Where's that? He knows why.
Okay. Can you point us in the area where the fish are and where's the bread? Being like an auctioneer on the podium. Okay, who's got some fish? Who's got bread?
Yeah. It doesn't seem like a very nice Jesus, does it? Why do you think, I love the question why do you think Jesus is kind of messing with them and sending them out in the crowd? Why is he doing this?
Because-
Why is he shaking them up?
I
Because
think
they
he's educating them.
doubted.
I mean, he's
Ah.
training them up.
I think they're forgetting what all he has already done and what miracles he has done. And maybe he's making them think, okay, are you expecting me to do something now? Maybe he wants to see that they can come up with something or do something, but I feel that maybe he feels that they're feeling kind of, oh, you know, we're the big guys now. We came back and this is what we did. And they're kind of still on his tail, not really sure. I don't know. I couldn't imagine trying to feed 5,000 people. Yeah, I'd probably think you are crazy to think that, but at the same time, look what he's done, you know, before. So
Tell him everything that happened.
gave them a
that's good.
staff and they stayed alive. They were able to come back with one staff in their hand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So let's go over and read in John chapter 6. What I love about John is John is real interested in kind of shining the light on the behavior of the disciples. So he's going to kind of give us this sneak peek or kind of like a privy into this side conversation that Mark doesn't record. So it's kind of fun. So in Mark chapter 6, and we're going to read 1 through 9.
Oh, John, or are we back in Mark?
John, we're
Or
in
John.
John's.
I can do it.
So John 6, 1 through 9.
Okay. Sometime after this, Jesus crossed to the far shore of the Sea of Galilee, that is the Sea of Tiberias. And a great crowd of people followed him because they saw the signs he had performed by healing the sick. Then Jesus went up on a mountainside and sat down with his disciples. The Jewish Passover festival was near. When Jesus looked up and saw the great crowd coming towards him, he said to Philip, "Where shall we buy bread for these people to eat?" He asked this only to test him, for he already had in mind what he was going to do. Philip answered him, "It would take more than a half a year's wages to buy enough bread for each one to have a bite." Another disciple, and Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up, "Here is a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish. How far will they go amongst so many?"
That was
Oh, I
awesome.
think he was being tacky. How far will that go?
So why would Jesus, so John records this little side conversation. So remember, this is John later on who writes the gospel, who's a lot more tempered, a lot more mild, but you got to remember his history. He's got a reputation of being called the sons of thunder. Okay. So this is a ripping and roaring John who's sitting here going, oh yeah, I'm going to capture this conversation that's going here on the side. And so Jesus is talking with whom? Who's Jesus talking with here?
Philip?
Yep. He's with Philip. He's talking with Philip. So Philip, it's interesting. Philip is from this area, this region where Jesus got in the boat, was kind of pushing off the shoreline of where the Jordan River dumps into the Sea of Galilee. Okay. And then they trek across. And so they're really from their hometown. This is Philip's hometown. Okay. Andrew is also in here. Andrew is the brother of Peter. Okay. You know, feisty Peter, chop off ears Peter, you know, walk on water Peter, impulsive Peter. Andrew and Peter are brothers. Andrew, interesting enough, they're all from the same town, Bethsaida. They're all from the same area, all these boys. Okay. They would have known each other. They totally would have known each other, and they would have known the dirt on each other from years and years of living life in a small town. They knew stuff on each other. And then you have Andrew, who comes up with a solution, right? So what's interesting with Philip is Philip almost seems to be more like this negotiator. He's not really arguing with Jesus. He seems to be kind of having this negotiation, like, if we were to come up with this much money, it's still not even enough, Jesus. It's just not enough. And, where are we supposed to go and do this? You told us, remember, you sent us out and told us not to ask for any money and not to take any money. Like, how are we going to make this happen, Jesus? And where it says that Jesus already had in mind what he was going to do, that he wanted to test him. It's this really, really cool word that means to examine or test in a way to bring out the best. Kind of like a Hellman's mayonnaise commercial here, bring out Hellman's, you bring out the best. That's what Jesus is doing right here with Philip. So he's not testing him like a stern teacher, like, what's wrong with you, Philip? Can't you get the lesson through your head? This is really a Jesus that is positioning Philip for success. This question is a question for his good, for his success, not to shame him and not to be like, boy, you just failed the test. What's wrong with you? Definitely not. So sometimes that's why it's really nice to kind of get insight into the verbiage, because then we can kind of see the intent in the personality that's kind of coming out here. Jesus is not reprimanding Philip at all. If anything, he's saying, hey, Philip, you've got it. Come on. You're right there. Come on, Philip. I'm gonna keep coaxing it out of you. You're so close, Philip. I mean, that's really what Jesus is doing here. And if you can just for a split moment go, and that's Jesus with me. And that's Jesus with you. You got it. Come on, Vanessa. You're right there, girl. You're right there. You're right there. You're trekking along. You've got the right mindset. Yep, you're getting there. You're getting there. So really, Jesus is saying, I'm your greatest fan. I've just given you this enormous thing to do. And I'm telling you, I'm setting you up. I'm testing you. I'm asking you this question. But again, not to shame you and not to tell you that you're failing. I'm doing this to position you for success. This sounds outrageous. Why would you ask someone to go find bread in a crowd of 5,000 and you're telling me that's positioning me for success? Yeah, it really, really is. It really is. And then Andrew is awesome. What does Andrew do in verse 8 and 9? What does Andrew say?
Bread.
He found a small boy with, where are we at?
Fish and the bread.
With 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish.
I love it. I love Andrew. He's like, ha, I got it. I get the win. I absolutely love it. But even though he gets the win, he's like, but now what?
Yeah. How far will that go?
I think we can all, like, between us 12, 13, we can all maybe get a half a loaf here, Jesus, That'll feed us. It's not going to feed these people. It'll feed us. So here's this child, right? This is a lad. This is literally like a little one. It's a child. Comes out there, has 5 barley rounds of bread. Do you get like this child is like totally interrupted? Odds are that was his meal for the evening with his family. Very, very likely. That was his evening meal with his family. So here you have this child who's willing to be seen. He's willing to share, right? Because if I was feeling a little selfish, I think I'd be tucking it in my cloak when the disciples came walking by, and I'd be like, get your own snacks. But right. This child is willing. He's like, okay, sure. And Andrew beautifully brings this child in front of Jesus. He doesn't just say, hey, kid, give me your bread, or hey, I'm going to take your bread. He's like, kind of like, come with me, brings the child to Jesus. This child is standing there, taking it all in, watching everything. Like, do you get that? Like, this is the next generation. Just huge, wide eyes watching. And then Jesus, do you remember also Jesus honored children when he said, if you want to inherit the kingdom of God, you must become like a child. You must have childlike faith.
Mhm.
Children can sometimes be the most generous of all people. No strings attached. Now, I'll share my snacks with you, Jesus. I'll share my meal with you, sure. And then they're just watching. They're just watching. You know, the child's not trying to break bread and pass it out. He's just like, "Ooh, what's going to happen?" And I get to be a part of this. It's amazing. It's amazing. And Andrew is awesome because, so remember, Andrew and Peter are brothers. This is crazy, wild-eyed Peter. And if you never thought of Peter that way, Peter's pretty rowdy out of all the boys. He really is. He's the rowdy one. He's the risk taker. He's the one willing to say, "Hey, Jesus, I'll go with you to the end." And you've almost got like this polar opposite brother going on here, Andrew, because Andrew was a disciple originally of John the Baptist.
Wow.
Peter was not a disciple of John the Baptist. So you really have very kind of religious Andrew from small town Bethsaida fishing village that left his family to go be a follower of John the Baptist. And so this is also Andrew, who would also be deeply grieving. Some of the other disciples, they would have known about John the Baptist, but they kind of would have been like, eh. Andrew is going, this was my leader. This is who I followed. So there was something in Andrew that had a little more gumph, so to say, a little more determination to go, I'm going to get you some bread. Jesus, I will find you some bread. I'm going to make it happen. And so this is really beautiful because this is Andrew, who also would have been steeped or soaking in grief. This would have been a very sad Andrew also, who would have received the news about John the Baptist being beheaded and being murdered in such a backstabbing way, so to say, in such a treacherous way. And yet Andrew pushes through, says, okay, I'm going to, in a sense, almost kind of put my grief on hold because there's people in front of us. And Jesus is saying, these people are a priority. Let's take care of them. Here's another thing that's really interesting. The town that they're all from, ironically, is the same region where they're all hanging out, Bethsaida. Guess what Bethsaida means? It's the coolest thing. Bethsaida, their hometown, is house of hunting or house of the fishermen who hunt.
Oh.
So remember, James and John, they were fishermen with their dad, and Peter and Andrew were fishermen in this small town that was named village or house of fishermen or the hunting fishermen. You know, this wasn't just your, throw your little fly fishing out in there. I mean, this was a business. This was serious. And so you've got these men who are very seasoned fishermen, totally not having the capacity to make bread from their own hometown. They would have been real familiar with this area, with the landscape in the area. Totally. And they're going, in a sense, their names aren't even measuring up, right? If they're supposed to be like, well, they're fishermen. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. So Jesus, do you recall in, let me see where it's at. Do you recall where Jesus told his disciples, come follow me. I will make you
Fishers of men.
Man.
fishers of men. Fishers of men.
Mm-hmm.
They're going probably on a practical side. We're already fishermen, Jesus. Right? But Jesus saying, I want to make you fishers of men, of mankind. In other words, I want you to cast your net. I want you to go after fish, these little fish, because they're really, really important to me. And these guys still aren't getting it. They're just so still, at the beginning, they seem irritated, but you see them starting to soften up. They're starting to soften up. So could it be that as they're in with the crowd, they're rubbing shoulders with the crowd, they're probably stepping on feet, you're probably smelling BO and everything else. But you start to really notice people when we slow down and we choose to get up close. It's no longer them and we. It's we're all in this together. We're in this together. That's Jesus. That's Jesus's intent. Everybody doing good? Okay, so we have one more area. So it's over in Matthew chapter 4. So we're going to go back to the left. And the only reason why I'm doing these 3 different gospels, it's just to kind of fill out the picture a little bit more. All 3 areas of these gospels are exactly of what's going on here. Okay, so I'm not trying to introduce a different concept. So Matthew 4, 12 through 13. And then if somebody will then take Matthew 4, 18 through 20. So Matthew 4, 12 through 13.
I got it. When Jesus heard that John had been put in prison, he withdrew to Galilee. Leaving Nazareth, he went and lived in, Capernaum, which was by the lake in the area of Zebulun and, I'm not going to say it right, sorry. But Natali?
Sounds good to me.
Naphtali.
I like it. Great. Thank you. So again, saying that once Jesus heard that John the Baptist had been taken into custody, he pulled up into the region of Galilee. So that means he traveled north. Okay. He was out in Nazareth, was a little bit west. He comes in closer to the sea, more east, more north. Okay. He's coming into this region, into this area. And then if somebody will read 18 through 20, please.
As he was walking along the Sea of Galilee, he saw 2 brothers, Simon, who is called Peter, and his brother Andrew. They were casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. "Follow me," he told them, "and I will make you fish for people." Immediately they left their nets and followed him.
Pretty awesome, right? I want to make you fishers of men. Like, do you think, is it kind of a strange concept? Like, it'd be like saying, like, Natalie, you're a nurse. I think you have a different title than that, but is that kind of a fair, broad way of saying you're a nurse?
I am a nurse.
Okay, so it'd be like saying, Natalie, you're a nurse, but now I'm going to make you nursey nurse.
Yeah,
sorry, that was good.
It'd probably be kind of like,
I don't think so.
right? Because you're going, I am a
nurse.
I'm a nurse. Fishing. Jesus, we're already fishermen. We're fishermen. And Jesus like, yeah, I know you're a fisherman. I'm now going to make you fish for men. They're probably just like, ha ha ha, Jesus, what a pun, what a play on words, right? But literally what the language means is that Jesus, when he called them, he was beckoning them to walk on the same path together with him, and then to ask other people to do the same thing. That's a very different picture, at least for me, of who Jesus is. It's not really this commando Jesus, dictating and telling people to follow him. He really seems to be indicating that this is more relational. This is about walking together on a journey headed in the same direction together. In other words, it's not Jesus 50 yards ahead and you walk behind me. It's very much this language of side by side, moving and traveling in the same direction. And Jesus saying is, that's what I want to teach you to do. If you want to be like me, if you want to follow me, then let's walk this road, let's walk this journey together. And I'm going to teach you how, you and I, how we're doing this. It's now going to inspire you, because what matters most to me are other people. And I want you to walk alongside of them on their journey in life. And so this is so exciting to me, because Jesus is still saying, yeah, I know you're hungry. Yeah, we've got 5 pieces of bread. And yeah, we're going to get to that. But boys, really, if you want to be like me, then you need to have a heartbeat like me that says, these people are important. These people matter. And maybe I don't have 8 months of extra money saved up to take care of them. Maybe I don't have huge capacity. You know, Cynthia's going, I'm doing this and I don't know what on earth I'm doing. I think I know what I'm doing, but I really don't know what I'm doing. But you do know what you're doing, because you're choosing to be moved with compassion. And so you're trusting compassion to be your guide to walk this journey with your friend, of somebody that you love very, very much. And it's difficult. It's not an easy thing. And that is what Jesus is asking of you and me. It's not about having huge capacity, huge bread. It's just simply about, what do I have? What ability do you have? What resonates? What clicks with you, with another human being, where you're going, I want to walk together with you. I want to walk with you. We're moving in the same direction. Let's do this thing together. Let's do life together. That's what Jesus is really trying to get into his boy's head. Yeah. So how do you feel about that? Or what thoughts are rolling around in your mind?
It's funny because you said something about, I can imagine, like you're right when you said that. It's like all of a sudden you see Jesus has got this sense of humor, because it's like, go feed them. Why are you asking me? Just go feed them. And they're like, what? So it is pretty cool when you look at it down and you dissect it differently.
How does that change anyone's view of kind of how to do life, or how to be a Christian?
Yeah.
Does it change your view at all after hearing this?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
We have, I guess, a little situation right now where maybe about 4 months ago, we started a 40-day Bible challenge. And we were getting together with my parents, and we got together every single day. We made it a habit. But it did get a little frustrating, because for as long as I can remember, my father's always drank, and he really enjoys it. But I also learned about Jesus from my father. So we would go over there, we would have our Bible study, and he was kind of trying to rush through it. So I would find myself getting really frustrated with him, because I was annoyed, that he's not taking the extra time to want to study and talk about it. And then my mother and he decided that he wanted to do it again recently. And I told my husband, I don't know, because it gets really frustrating. But this is so convicting to hear this, because how many times, really could I have frustrated Jesus? There's so many things that we do to, we're not perfect, just like he's not perfect. And so this discussion itself is very convicting to me, to put my thoughts, my wants, my feelings aside, and just to do what Jesus would do, which is have that get together, have the studying and the prayer time.
I hear also grace. You need to give your father more grace so that you can
Yes.
stay together.
Yep.
And who knows what would come out of that?
Yes. Well, and I know just seeing, I mean, the last Bible study that we did, my husband gifted him this little book with daily prayers in it. And he still will tell us, well, I'm reading it every day. I'm reading it every day, but I have so much frustration and anger towards certain things that I'm like kind of just blowing that off and not really seeing that maybe God is working, you know, in this situation. And we just need to kind of keep pushing through and hopefully see, you know, even if it's just little bits here and there, that we'll see something that we consider to be a miracle, you know.
That's good. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, it's we so much are in on both sides. You know, we can so much be just like one of these disciples, and we can so much be like one of these people in the crowd. This region, this area of Bethsaida, is where Jesus did a healing of the blind man, and it's so people would have known about it. Like that's why when people heard or when people recognized the boat, the boatload of them, they ran ahead because they had already seen and heard about the other miracle of the blind man receiving his sight. So now you've got a crowd of 5,000 plus people running, and you better believe, just like you or I, they're coming in with hopeful expectation, like Jesus, will you notice me? Will you
Yes.
notice me? You know, I've got a gimp leg here, or you know, maybe I've got a broken heart, or you know, the finances are tight right now. Jesus, I don't have any bread. There's no bread in my household. I don't have anything. I'm tapped out. I have nothing, but I've got just a little ounce of hope, because that's why I even got here in the first place.
Yeah.
And Jesus's response to that is just such a enveloping compassion. And yes, you're right, Michelle. I miss that so many times. I miss that compassionate part, because I want to get so practical. I want to, well, you're not doing this, you're not doing that,
Yes.
and it should look this way, it should look that way. And I mean, we just miss it. It really is just about that connecting, that deep connecting with one another, saying you're worthy and you're valued, and I want to walk life together with you.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It is also awesome, the bread that was brought in. One gospel describes it as barley, another gospel describes it as millet. So have you all seen bird seed? That they're real
Yeah.
teeny tiny little bitty little, they're like,
Mhm.
ugh. And I mean, you can still buy some of it. Some of the health food stores will have it. And when it's crushed, it almost kind of has a cornmeal texture. So this is not soft, chewy, fluffy bread. Again, it's dense, it's hearty. I mean, it's going to taste good. It's just real hearty. So this is poor man's bread.
Like
And Jesus,
Ezekiel bread,
very much, oh, yes,
but
Ezekiel
very
does have it.
expensive these days.
Yeah, well, times have changed. Because the upper class or people who had money would have wheat. They would have wheat in their bread. This is poor man's bread, or lower income, middle class, lower income, common, everyday bread. So it's really not so much about our capacity. It's not about us always having the best to bring to the table in a sense. It's just, do we have the willingness to bring forth what we do have, and not be ashamed of it? So like Cynthia, you're given this, you know, you opened up our conversation today talking about in your personal life. And so we would say, in a sense, that's poor man's bread. You have an insufficiency, an inadequacy of training of how to deal with Alzheimer's, but you have this heart of compassion and a heart of mercy that wants to move to take care of someone that you care about. We would say that's kind of poor man's bread. That would be this little cake of millet bread or barley bread. In other words, you don't have this huge capacity, but you have a willingness. And Jesus is going, I can work with that. I can do a lot with that. I mean, that's a lot of hope to go, oh, really? I don't have to impress you, Jesus? You're okay with my little bit? Really? just did my little bit. And she's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And the fish literally is like anchovy sized fish.
Oh, I'd have to just eat the bread.
Didn't we learn somewhere that that was like, so that was the child's meal? Like someone, I forget where we learned that. That like at the beginning of the day, the child went out with his bread and his meat, and that's what he had to eat all day long. Have you, any of y'all ever heard that? So it's like the child gave up his whole, his whole meal for the day to feed the 5,000.
Oh,
Ah, that's good.
I can't remember where I heard that, if that's right. But anyway, that just kind of makes it mean, even more.
So maybe to take whatever our daily bread is, and instead of like consuming it just for myself, so is it like what you're saying is that we're offering it, we're giving it to somebody else first?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
That's good. That's good, Tracy. That was deep. I was like, woo, we just went deep real quick on that one.
Sorry about that. Sometimes, things just kind of, you remember things.
It was excellent. There's no apologies for that needed. That was excellent. It was excellent. Yeah. So daily bread, what is it that you and I have that could be a benefit for someone around us if we really take the time to just slow down and really see people as beautiful, precious people that God loves so much, even if they are an absolute train wreck. God loves them so much. Yeah.
what can we do in our life? Is that what you
Sure.
said?
Sure.
I just recently I have a son who's very unique. And man, I love him so much. And he is a disabled vet, and he's just amazing. But I've decided through doing the real estate, I took a course in working with vets and some of the VA land, or the veterans land information, because if I can do something and help some of these guys make it easier, or if I can find homes for disabled vets, or if I can, I don't know, I just kind of felt that that would be really cool. And I just recently, the two houses that I just did had to do with soldiers and PTSD, and they had like, they just needed a little extra help, man, and it just made me feel good to be able to be there and help them. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do with my life now, is do something for somebody else.
You all have
So,
nothing. So this doesn't violate Facebook's community silence, and that's makes me sick.
Natalie, we were wondering, are you hopping in the conversation, or were you?
Oh, I was just sharing something with my mom. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No, you're good. You're good. Oops, you're good. It's beautiful, Barb, and that's a very practical way of taking your bread and sharing with others, to give nutrition, to give value to another person, and for you to take notice. Yeah. That's awesome. Awesome.
This is the first time I've ever taken the word bread and the Our Father literally, because I was always taught, coming from the Catholic background, that give us this day our daily bread is give us your word to chew on, give us your scripture, give us, study, and take that and use that throughout the day to feed you. and to nourish others. But to hear it the way we're using it here, it's like, wow, I like that.
But it could also be what you're saying too, and we share the word. And that's our daily bread, to share it with others too.
Look.
Yeah. And it's not about having 500 scriptures memorized. Sometimes that could be such an intimidating thing where we're like, where's that scripture again? I can't think of that scripture. Or if I don't witness the right way or do it the right way. I mean, these boys didn't do anything the right way. They didn't. But Jesus is still choosing to flip the world upside down with, these 12 men. And this is including a Judas, a betrayer, is in this little mix up right now. And yeah, Jesus, if he can work with them, surely he can work with us. And it is daily bread. I was out with a friend today out on the golf course, and they're just the most generous people with who they are. Like everybody they see, they're like, oh, hey, hi. And they know everybody's name and their story. And so, like when they're on the golf course, they look like, like the president and first lady, because they just walk through and they're saying hi to everyone. And there's this gentleman, I came around the corner and this gentleman was standing there, and he just all of a sudden just looked at me. He goes, God bless you. And I was like, thanks. And I mean, I'm just so fixated on hitting my ball that I really kind of blew him off. Confession time here. And my friend came over and she's like, he has never said that before. And I was like, okay, I just want to hit my ball. And she's like, no, you don't get it. Like, he doesn't talk that way. There's something about you. He just wanted to say, God bless you. And I was like, okay, yeah, it was really cool. I mean, that was really sweet of him. I've never met him before. He doesn't know me. I don't know him. And he was just like, God bless you. Like, I don't have a huge loaf of bread to give you, but I can, just say, God bless you. And I was like, sweet. That was really nice of you. Thank you. You acknowledge my existence on earth. And so, yeah, daily bread can look in so many different ways, Yeah, whether we've got a wonderful scripture to share and encourage with someone, whether we have resources, whatever it is, it's daily bread. It's daily bread. And it's not depleting us. It's not just to empty us and so that we walk around, with empty pockets. Not at all. Because Jesus fed them all. The disciples didn't get left out. So Mary, I'm itching to know what's running through your mind there.
Oh, put me on the spot.
I did.
I guess with me, I just like talking with people, and I find people interesting, and I always seem to lean towards somebody that looks puzzled or looks sad or whatever. I just always just like to go up and say hi to somebody or to smile at them, or it's like I came back to church finally to greet people. Oh my God, I forgot how much I missed that so much. And just to be able to say hi to them and, welcome or whatever, and see their smiling faces, or just to, I know you're supposed to stay 6 feet apart, but sometimes you can't always do that. But, just to even be in a little short conversation with them, to me, just makes them feel, okay, you are welcome. We are glad you're here. I'm not just saying, oh, I'm so glad you're here. I truly mean it, that I'm glad you're here. So I guess that's the way that I look at it. I mean, I know it's just being a greeter is a little small thing, but it's just like, I would train hostesses and tell you, you're the first and last impression of these people. Mm-hmm. And you want them to feel welcome. You want them to feel comfortable coming in there. Because when I first started there, I was a little kind of meek and walked in. I'm like, oh my God, everybody's saying hello. Everybody's shaking your hand. Everybody's something. Wow. Because when I went to the Catholic, you didn't really have a whole lot of that. It was very, I don't know, you went in, you sat, you did blah, 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 and then it was over and you were out, you know? And so, I just like visiting with people, and I just like talking with them, and if I can help them in any way, or just talking with them sometimes helps people, you know. I guess that's with me, but then I'm more with animals, you know. I'm an animal person, so I just picked up 2 more little kitties. They were going to euthanize them Sunday, and I had to go get them.
Oh.
I still have my other 2. They're supposed to get adopted hopefully soon, but I could not, you know. So I'm tired. That's why I'm just sitting here. I'm tired because they're a lot of work. But they're itty bitty. Do you want to see them?
Oh.
They can sit in your hand. They're so little,
I know, they're adorable.
but they're sweet.
Yeah.
Brother and sister.
I'm the world's worst because I am a foster fail. So now
Well, my first one was a foster fail. Yeah.
But there were 2 in that litter that I kept, and I already had 2.
No, I can't keep kittens, so I think it's safe to say that's why I can stick with. Because if I got another dog, my sister would probably hurt me. But that's what I do, you know. And I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. That's my way of. Even our neighbors, you know, if we know someone is hurt or someone's kind of down, or we all offer to go. I can go mow your lawn, or you want me to go pick this up for you, or, you know, that's what we do. That's what we do in the neighborhood here. And I guess I'm blessed that we have, you know, neighbors like that. And so, you know, just being able to do something as little as mowing their lawn, you know, or going to pick something up for them, or I don't know.
It's a great act of kindness.
Yeah, I just, you know, that's what I think.
But you know, Mary, I know watching you interact and having personal interactions with you myself, you are a phenomenal, intense listener.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah.
And a lot of times,
Sometimes I talk too much, and I have to say, shut up and let them talk. I've been told that.
well, I don't know. I haven't seen that, so.
Yeah. I'm usually quiet at first, but once you get to know me, then I'm okay. Only took me 3 years to talk to anybody in the church.
I remember.
So.
Yep.
But y'all got me out
And
of
so,
that.
and now you're a greeter.
Now I'm a greeter. Go figure.
Look at you.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Vanessa, what's going through your mind?
Just thinking about like for me with work, I interact with a lot of clients who are in need. And so in between clients, I do pause and I try to just, you know, put on a smile and, you know, and then start talking to them and just kind of be very calm. And I do catch myself sometimes having, I guess I don't know how to say, like it's like maybe sometimes like a little bit of a stereotype or bias when I am speaking to them and looking into their issues. And I always have I stop and I'm like, no, things are not always what they seem to be, you know. And it's some clients are a little bit more responsive. They're where I'm able to hold a conversation with them and really get to know them a little bit better. And there's some that are just very like walls up. They don't ask. They only answer whatever I ask them, and that's it. And it's very hard to get them to have conversations. But you know, I think like, and especially like today, I got off work and my daughter asked me a question, and she's like, I responded, and she says, "Oh, you you're mad? And I'm like, I'm not mad at you. It's just my last call was just frustrating. And, I shared a little bit of as to what was frustrating about it. And she's like, well, Mom, uh, just be very thankful. That's not your situation.
Super funny.
And, it was kind of like, oh, she kind of brought me back like, hey, just, remember what we have, or our situation, we're better off than that. Um, and usually I have optimistic type of outlook, but every once in a while that negativity just creeps on in and it kind of brings you down. And here she was, just like, hey, don't forget, life is still good. Life is still okay.
Isn't that beautiful? You're able to receive from your daughter. I mean, daily bread. You're able to receive bread from her.
Yes.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And I love the honesty of your humanity. Because I think so many times when we read the Bible, we read scriptures, we think, oh, they're just so much more spiritual. They just so much have it together. And, these disciples were really seeing the rawness of their humanity. And Jesus does not reprimand them. He does not come down on them. If anything, he still continues to pour into them to make them shine and to bring out the best in them. And so if Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever, then surely we can count on that Jesus is patient with us, even though, I think sometimes we're a little bit harder on ourselves than perhaps God sees us. Yeah. I'm sorry you had a hard day, though. That's hard.
It's okay.
I heard someone else. It sounded like someone else was going to talk. Yes.
I was just thinking, there's so this happens. He feeds the 5,000. Then he walks on the water, and they were like doubting him again. He's walking on the water, and it just amazes me. And I'd probably be the same way. But I mean, they walked with Jesus. They saw all these miracles, and even up to the end, sometimes they were like, "What?" They're still kind of doubting, and it reminds me of the Israelites. They 40 years they walked around in the desert, and got manna from heaven, was provided food every day, and they still, they saw the Spirit of God in a fire and the cloud and all that stuff, and they still doubted, but they were still God's people, even they still are, even through the end. So it just amazes me that even though they can mess up, and it just shows that they can mess up and still doubt, they were human, and so are we. And so, we're going to mess up, and sometimes we're going to doubt, but he still loves us nonetheless.
Absolutely. I'm definitely one of those disciples who would have been arguing with Jesus. Like, are you serious? Have you done the math here? It's not going to happen. Totally. Totally. I think it's just so funny. It's so funny. These guys are from the town of fishermen, village of hunting fishermen, and they fish. And Jesus says, go find some food. You're from the area. You're going to fish for people. They could care less about the people. And then even when the fish shows up, they're still kind of like, I wonder if they were just kind of like, are you serious? Like anchovies, sardines, really? I could throw my net and get bigger fish than that. And Jesus is like, just wait, just watch, boys. We're going to do something real special here. So again, it's not about, what we can cast out and pull in. It's not about our greatness. It's really not. It's just whether a willingness, just that willingness to be like the child, a willingness to share, a willingness to sit back and be like, I can't figure it out, but go ahead. You go right ahead, Jesus, and you do what you do best. And I think really to try and enjoy the ride. Yeah. Enjoy the ride. Yeah. All right, how's everyone doing?
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
going to, God help me, really, start groomer school Monday.
Wow, good for you.
I'm
Wow.
going to go 3 days a week. The first class that I'll be going to is to become the bather.
You'll love it. That's what my daughter does.
Does
My
she?
daughter's a dog groomer. She does mobile grooming, and she
Does-
absolutely. Now she's a hairdresser. She has her license to do hair, but
Right.
she doesn't like working with people, but she likes working with the dogs.
Yeah, that's me. I like working with animals. So
Me too.
you have to start out as a bather
Right.
at the academy. And then, you know, once you finish that one, you get certified, and then you go to the apprentice. And then you go as far as the cutting, the groomer, and then there's one above that one. But God help me, I'm 60 years old. I'll be on my feet all day. I'll be amongst these young little whippersnappers out there.
I just turned 60 and started a new career too. You can do it too.
Yeah, it's
You-
gonna be
you can use
totally different.
Stool. You can use a stool, and most of the tables are hydraulic, so you can make them go up and down to
Yeah,
where it need to be. So you don't absolutely have to be on your feet 20, the whole time. My daughter ended up getting a knee injury, and so she just took a stool on the van with her.
hmm
I mean, the hardest part is getting in and out of it.
To me, I guess is going back to school and learning something. And is my retention going to be as good as it was 24 years ago?
I'm
Yeah, but
the
you're
only
invested
part
now.
I'm like, school, what do you mean school? I have to go to school. I've been waiting to try to get into these vet places, and I figured, they're going to choose people that already have the background. So I figured, okay, let's just do something. So I said, is there a school out there? And there's academy. So I went, and that's what I did. And
good.
hopefully I can get in somewhere, or even learning being in school. I'm only going to be part-time, so you never know what could else come up. So
No, there's a shortage of good groomers.
yeah,
There really is.
and I like cutting hair, so I'll just be dog hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness!
I just went back to school.
Did you?
I haven't been. My last degree was done in 2004. So you can do this. If I can do this, you can do this.
Okay. Well, say some prayers for me that I can keep
Absolutely.
it. I'm excited and scared at the same time. That's what all I can say.
I think you're going to find that it's so intuitive that it won't be hard for you because you already have that love and care for animals.
Right.
I think you're going to find that it's totally intuitive.
Okay, my cat's just hit the wrong thing. Stop. I'm here. I just can't see y'all.
We can still see you, Mary. So, Mary, I love your courage. None of us can have courage without fear. There
Yeah.
has to be something that we're afraid of, something that we're unsettled with. That's part of the recipe in order to have courage. And so it's beautiful that you're willing to not just face it, but actually begin to take some steps of courage and pursue what it is that you can identify that you love. I mean, I remember you months ago saying you're taking a career change because you're going, I want to dive in. I want to dream big and I want to go for it. And then whoop, here's COVID and here's all these left hooks. But I love that you're going, you know what? Okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pressing in.
Exactly. If I can't find a job, then I'll just go to school and I'll get a job somehow.
That's the right attitude.
It is. We're excited for you.
Me too. Now let's just see if my 85-pound dog will let me do his nails.
Lots of treats.
Yeah. Lots of peanut butter.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So Jennifer, you've been pretty quiet this study, and I know you don't usually like to be put on the spot. So if you need to wave and go, hey, I'm out, leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. But just want to check in. How are you doing?
No, don't do that again.
Feasting.
Did I lose you?
I'm
Are you
feasting.
still there, Jennifer? There you are.
No, I'm here. I'm here. I'm just taking it in. It's good. Good lesson. I needed it. Timely.
You're getting fussy.
Good, good, good. All right. Anything else I can do for you ladies? Anything? Do I have any bread that you want or need? I don't have anything fancy. I don't have any wheat, but I've got some millet hanging around here.
I got lots of cat food. Don't we? We eat a lot.
All right, ladies. All right. I'll send notes out. If you want the notes, if you want to read through the book, go ahead and read through Practicum and Inventory. And I was realizing it today when I was sitting there Googling it, it kept trying to autocorrect me, and that was really frustrating. So it helped me realize that's not a common everyday word. And so it's just about the lesson. You know, Jesus is just really trying to teach them about people and to have compassion and love the people around you, even if you're really hungry, even if you're feeling really empty yourself. And then going into inventory, the challenge of kind of that inner reflection, but also, you know, moving in amongst God's people, really any people, any kind of people, and to develop a love and a tenderness and a genuine concern for the people around us. Yeah, but I'm excited for next week also to dive in. It's going to keep getting better and better. It really is. Again, do you need anything? Anybody need anything? Are you doing all right with your books? Doing all right with questions? Okay. All right then, ladies, I guess I will say good night and we'll sign off. Yeah.
Okay.
That was great.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right.
Night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night,
Bye,
everyone.
Brandy.
Have a great week.
Guys.
Good night, y'all.
Oh, the babies.
Bye.
Bye, Mary.
Bye. Oh my gosh.